What's up? I'm Grizz. Welcome, episode 1 of Steins Gate. This was the winner of our poll by a pretty substantial margin, I would say. Had the lead from the start and never really looked back. Here we are, continue just to continuously grow. Thank you to everybody who participated in that. And yeah, this is what we're going to be continuing. We are going to be replacing Death Note with this. This is our classics or staples in anime kind of slot, which I particularly like having something like this involved, even if it doesn't perform the greatest in the channels. If you look at the Death Note videos, they definitely did not. But I like doing this because I feel like I'll never actually go out of my way and watch a lot of things like this, or a lot of things that are older. Well, this one isn't as old because I believe this was like early 2010s, so like this really isn't that old in comparison. I have this weird thing where like anything that's over like 12 episodes I just never want to go out of my way to watch, but anything also that like isn't currently airing, I also don't want to watch for whatever reason. And then like the third thing is I also never want to watch things that are like highly regarded for some reason, specifically like things like this or Full Metal Alchemist and things along those lines. And I think I'd argue my reasoning behind that is more of I don't want to like spoil myself and like lose something like having that idea that there's always something that'll be like incredible or considered to be like the greatest of all time kind of thing, like still available and at my availability, almost like that I can watch this at one point, that I kind of enjoy like not actually watching and experiencing. Because if I do watch it and I don't actually like it very much, or in comparison like to other things, I'm going to be kind of let down, right? So it's this weird thing internally that I don't want to kind of do, but is what it is. Anyways, specifically Steins Gate. I have a few questions to ask, and I'm also just going to state things that I know or don't know and anything regarding the series. Question-wise, I saw on my anime list there's a Steins Gate 0. What is that, like a second season, or is that like a different thing, or like what is that? Like, also, what is the watch order? Because there's an OVA I saw, there's a movie, I think there might be two, I don't know. There's something like a bunch of things along those lines. So am I supposed to specifically just go through all these episodes and then like a movie and OVA and then next season thing, if that's even another season, or like is there a certain way to do this? Just let me know, just so I have a good understanding. My background info on this series is practically none. I've seen characters and character design, so I know some of the people that are involved there. I know it's by Studio White Fox, who I'm very familiar with for certain reasons. And I know it has to be relating to time travel, but I don't know how the time travel is used. If it's like a people trying to gain and do like time travel for the first time, or if it's like a constant we can repeat and time travel and do things. Like I don't know, so I guess I'll figure all that out here. Expectations around the show are incredibly high, because it's so highly regarded. It's so much of like a staple, I guess, and so many people list it as like their favorite of all time, or think it's the best one that they've ever seen, or whatever the situation might be. So I truly do have high expectations for it. I also have high expectations because it's not something that was done in like the 80s or 90s or even early 2000s, where I can understand why like pacing and maybe animation and other things will be the thing that's kind of holding it back, or making me feel spoiled because I have like all the modern and present day stuff. This is something that, like I said, is 20, I'll have to look up the year after this, but like early 2010s. So it definitely doesn't get those same excuses, right? It has to be paced well. It has to be animated well enough, especially for the time that it was. So I might end up being a little more critical when it kind of comes to that stuff. However, it's also not like a action series as far as my knowledge. Like there's none of that involved. So the animation itself shouldn't be like too over the top or too like anything like of focus. As long as things just don't look goofy at random moments, I won't care. But yeah, that's going to be kind of where I'm at. Answer any of those questions, please, if you can, though. I would really appreciate that. If you like it all, hit the like and subscribe. Do mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Please leave any comments, though, about this episode or this series. Please do not spoil anything. Let's get going, though, of episode 1.
宇宙には始まりはあるが終わりはない。
Beginning in the wind. Yeah.
星にもまた始まりがあるが自らの力を持って滅びゆく。有限。
Okay.
抗える者たちに対する神からの最後通告と言えよ。
Yo. Look at my boy got the stubble on the chin.
行くぞ。
Also, I expect I'm probably gonna have to use my head a lot, and that's kind of unfortunate. I don't get to just have a laid back vibe thing. Yeah, you're not suspicious at all just walking around with this coat on, bro. The organization. Yeah?
中鉢博士は我々研究者の抜け駆けをし、 この世紀の発明の発表会へとこぎつけた。たっぷりとその考えを聞かせてもらうつもりだ。
So it is. And then disaster strikes.
上か。
So it is time being invented here. It's not the entire way through where we're trying to do it though. Time travel, that is. It's where it's already invented from the start.
これは
Oh.
あんまり残ってないのにマユシーは100円玉を切らしちゃっているのです。
Damn. You gotta get the secret one.
たとえ幼馴染であっても金は貸さん。
Get one for himself. That's the secret one.
あ？
Oh.
メタルだよ、メタルウーパー。
レアなのか？
すっごく
Give it to her. Give it to her. Thank you.
いいの、オカリ。
Yeah.
今日まだ。
ありがとう、オカリ。
だから今日も。
What was going on in that fucking roof, though? That's the question, dude.
メタルウーパー落としたみたいなので探してきます。
What is wrong with her? It's the little thing on the roof.
なんだいきなり。なんだではな。
Did he, like, steal your design or something?
タイターのパクリではないか。
Ah.
タイターは自らをタイムトラベラーと名乗り、2000年にはこの理論をネット上で発表しているんだぞ。するなと言っているのだ。
It's the same thing.
してもらおう。あなたとタイターのタイムマシン理論の違いを。
About that.
ちょっとあなた。
Oh. Come with me. Okay, now the 3 people that we've seen at this point now are the only ones that I've seen of character-wise. So, if there's more, I don't know then.
さっき何か言いかけましたよね。私に。
No.
さっき
15分くらい前。
何をトンチンか。サイエン誌に論文が載った。
よくご存知ですね。
Yeah, but hold
ど
on.
こか大学の研究室の方です。
貴様まさか機関が送り込んだエージェント。
機関なんで
I'm trying to figure that out too.
それに答える必要はない。俺だ。機関のエージェントに捕まった。マキセクリスタ。
誰と話してるんです
あ
か
あ、問題ない。
Nobody even on the phone.
あれ電源が
Bro is losing it, dude.
特別に教えてやろう。それは俺以外が触ると自動的に電源がオフになる。特殊
Yeah.
任務使用形態なのだ。
そう
Is it on while you're touching it though? Yeah, he's talking to himself. But he's got some problems right now.
何を言おうとしたんですか
When
15
though?
分くらい前
When?
何か言おうとしてましたよね。
お見通しなのだ。天才少女よ。次に会うときは敵同士だな。さらばだ。
Dude. Settle down, bro.
何の話だったんだ。
But I don't know.
俺に会ったとか。
But what are you talking about? Dude, should be the question. What are you going insane over here? Oh.
オカリン、
まゆり、何をやっていた。
メールしたでしょ。メタルウーパーがないのです。名前書いて持ってたのに、オークションじゃ1万
Yeah?
円するんだ
Are
よ。
you gonna sell it though?
マン
There's a lot for that little thing though.
探せ。我がラボは今資金が完全にそこを突きかけているのだ。到達できるではないか。
だから売らないって。
Dude, his voice actor is killing it right now. Okay, somebody's fucking dying. They're teleporting themselves for sure.
外に出ていろ。
Upstairs, the machine. The machine! It's about to be a murder mystery? Like, what the fuck is this? What? Things I wasn't expecting. Okay.
クリス。
そうだよ。
Yeah, he might have just witnessed something he shouldn't. Yeah.
8回で。
Huh. There's bros in the void? I was gonna say he went back to like the beginning, but there's nobody here. He's in the fucking void.
ことだ。
てってるー。はい、オカリン。
But okay, okay.
何が
人だ。人がどうして消えた？
消えた
消えただろ。今ここにいた人たちがみんな
Oh,
目の前で。
さあ、
さあではない。
they didn't
お前も見てただ
though.
ろ。
A lot. Oh, what the fuck? What? That's the thing you saw earlier? Oh.
貴様、俺たちが見えているか？なぜ答えない？モニターのそっち側にいる間抜け面の貴様だ。まあいい。
Bro, talking
こ
to
こが
me.
未来ガジェット研究所だ。この俺、
Mm,
王院京馬。
a man
オカ
himself.
リンの方が可愛いのに。
黙れ。岡部倫太郎は世を忍ぶ仮の名だ。そしてラボ
So he made up his own name. Got it. I thought she was just calling him a nickname. Alright.
てってるーマユシーでー
遊女の目的は世界の支配構造の変革による混沌に巻き込む発明を生み出すことだ。
Yeah, we're gonna go against the system.
なのかゲームなのかっていう発想さえないんじゃね？
じゃあ、ダル君の好きな二次元の女の子もそうなの？
あれは別。
Yeah, that's very different. Come on.
嫁だから
Yeah, yeah.
話はどうでもいい。
でも僕たちがモニターの中の存在だとしたら、それを見極める術はあると思う？
ないな。
Probably not.
即
No,
答かよ。
yeah.
故にそのような議論は不毛。機関に対抗し世界の支配構造を打ち砕く方法について考える方がよほど有意義だ。
So he's against the system and the organization here. Everybody's got different goals. Everybody's on.
サイエンティスト法王院
Yeah,
京馬だ。
you're mad, all right, bro.
って設定なわけでしょ？
やれやれ。
Made my own backstory and everything. Sure, sure.
今日千代田区秋葉原に墜落した人工衛星と思わ
Oh.
れる落下物です。
Okay, so he wasn't the only one seeing that shit.
うん墜落したのをテレビで見てて、オカリンがついに機関が動き出したとか言って二人で見に来たんだよ。
中止？
朝オカリン、
おい
博士直前になって逃げたとか言って怒ってたじゃん。
中町博士の
We're just living on bro's head.
記憶の齟齬。まさか機関による記憶操
There's
作。
no organization, dude.
そうか。これこそがシュタインズゲートの選択。
He said the
設
thing.
定っすか？
He did say the
そ
thing.
のシュタインなんとかってところから意味不明なんですが。
戻れミスターブラウン。
Lads, I don't know what the fuck's
ただでもらったやつでしょ？
粗悪品を渡したそ
大家
ちらに
にそういう口を聞くのか。
修理代を弾もう。
まよりちゃん、こいつの相手するのやめた方がいいよ。
でもマユシーはオカリンの人質なので。
Yeah. So he's just talking to himself all the time here on the phone.
知的飲料だからな。
The chosen. That fucks with Dr. Pepper too, bro. I respect that. What?
計画なんぞ？
計画は計画だ。未来ガジェット8号機の
Can you tell us the plan at
何
least?
があるというのだ。
ああ、電話レンジかっこ仮ね。
Yeah.
レンジの実践投入って何？
We're about to use it. We'll figure it out.
俺の会話について来られるようになってくれ。
それは無理。
You're so like off the rails, dude. It's impossible to.
またゲルバナ作るのもったいないよ。
ケチケチしていては機関との戦いには勝て。
あと温めたい秒数を入力してください。
To time cook. So is that what he did? He like pressed some shit and then he like.
綺麗な
Oh no, it's literally for this. I don't get it. Whatever.
逆回転してる。
漁師の問題を考えて。
Yeah, if you can spin this backwards, you should be able to spin time backwards, right, bro?
あわりないね。温まるわけでもなく冷たくなるわけでもなく。
このバナナ食べてみようとは思わない。
No, no,
マユ
please
にその
don't.
名誉を譲っていい
No.
なんかね、ゲルバナはデロデロでブニュブニュだったよ。味もないし。
食べたのか？
まゆし。
Yeah.
バナナブニュブニュだね。
No, 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 no.
言わせるな変態が。
メグインニャンニャンでやってくれればいいのにな。
Yeah.
喫茶で大学の講義ができるか。データよかせ。
なんで？
I pressed a button and it did some
プ
shit.
ライバシーの侵害許さない絶対。
メール送っただろ。
先週来たやつ
先週
3通に分けてスパムかっつーの。ほら。
重心日時7月23日12時5時。今日は何日だ。
28日。どうしたの？
メールが過去に送られている。
あ
That, yeah. Okay. 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 Confused, right? Confused. Supposed to be confused, I believe. That would make sense, right? Definitely should have wrote down some notes. That's on me. I'm gonna next time. Okay. I'm just going to start here by speaking about the things that I enjoyed and kind of what I'm looking forward to. And then when we get into the actual breakdown of me skipping through the episode, I'll talk a lot about what's on my mind. And I'm not going to have a clue what's going on because my brain's small and can't comprehend things, right? And then that's when you guys come in, okay? Okay. Or just don't answer anything and make me feel dumb continuously, but make me just do it like this. I don't care. Whatever works. Okay. First few things to keep on the mind, or I thought was very noticeable and enjoyable. One, the characters are very fun. Everybody that we've met so far, the interactions, the writing within them, the humor, and the jokes that they kind of throw back between each other is really, really good. I genuinely think the main character is very, very cool. I love him a lot right now. He is somebody who clearly has two personas. He's clearly not all well mentally, but that's okay. Believing he is a mad scientist of sort, or the special doctor or somebody. And I mean, he very well could be. I don't know exactly his standing and how old he is and everything, right? But based on what they were saying, like 2 years out from second year and stuff, I'm assuming he's like 18, 19, right? So he's definitely not a doctor or any of this stuff. He's definitely not what he thinks he is. But that's okay. So he has this other version of himself that's like fucking going insane, and for whatever reason, that's okay. He makes for the majority of the comedy and the stuff that's kind of going on. That's where the clear distinction between what Mayuri calls him and what he tries to call himself and convince, you know, especially when he's in public and stuff with other people around, right? That's where that clear distinction comes from. But he's very funny. His voice actor does an excellent job, kills the role completely, and really elevates that character to make it fun. His other two that he's working with in his agency or whatever that he is forming here are also very fun. They all have their own distinct, you know, personality things. They all have their own kind of stuff going on. And I think that's really cool. I thought the overall flow and the direction of the episode was fantastic. It felt like every shot that they kind of gave us was purposeful. It felt very detail oriented, which I think is a excellent thing. I mean, usually that is the case, especially if you have a clear vision for the things that you're doing. But this significantly more than some other shows that I've seen, so very, very solid start. I'm genuinely sad that we're not going the route of just like something more simple, I guess you could say, with time travel, because sometimes they can be very simple, right? Other shows, simply all you have to do is like make contact or do like one specific thing, or something has to happen, and the rules are pretty straightforward and simple. Here we don't know we have nothing, like no foundation to understand, and that's okay because it's only one episode, so it might take a little bit to get into it. But the reason why I say that is it doesn't feel as straightforward because it feels like we're dealing with loops, or we're dealing with timelines, and we're dealing with alternate like realities and different timelines and parallels and stuff, right? Like a whole bunch of other stuff can be going on here, which makes it a bit more difficult to kind of narrow down exactly the situation that we find ourselves in. But that's okay because it makes things a lot more interesting. Okay, now we go into the part that I'm dreading. Okay, so we start off and we get an entire statement specifically about how he kind of views things within the world, specifically talking about us getting a final warning almost from God. What the final warning and everything is, I don't exactly know. But what version of him is this? Because that's the important thing to kind of, I guess, keep in mind here. Is this somebody who knows the outcome at the end of the day, like the way that things are going to kind of go? Is this the version that we actually see as the episode's kind of going? I mean, I'm assuming it is. Like, what are we doing here? We specifically start off, we talk about the time travel stuff that we're doing. We have to meet with some guy who has like invented it, or he's invented like a machine or something along those lines, right? I believe this is the machine when he goes upstairs and he opens it and he kind of just observes and sees it. So that makes enough sense. I mean, I guess it could be the satellite, but no, that's the building looks intact. So I'm pretty sure that's the machine. Then we get an entire moment here where we are just kind of playing around because she's kind of goofy. So It's all okay. We're able to get a metal one here, which is really, sweet that he ends up giving it to her. Now, I question the idea that she got this. We later talk about pricing and things regarding that. He also talks about how he doesn't have any money and he needs stuff to kind of sell it, and he was trying to convince her to and all this other stuff. So is there a possibility that another version of himself who traveled through time and stuff kind of kept it because she ended up losing it and sold it off himself? I think that's a likely situation to kind of occur. We get our entire interaction calling out this guy for being an absolute fraud. I don't know necessarily how much importance this has, besides allowing us to set up our first interaction with this girl. It might be more important than I'm going to look, but I'm going to completely overlook that for now because I'd have more things I'd rather talk about with this. Okay, we met 15 minutes ago. You specifically had something you wanted to tell me 15 minutes ago. What was it? He doesn't remember at all. He continues to use the organization, this thing that I'm pretty sure he's invented and made up in his mind. I don't believe the organization's a real thing in the slightest. It very well could be, but I don't believe so. Unless he's going a simplistic, oh, the government is out to get me, type of woke, activist type thing, right? One of those things. But I don't think that's the case. I think he's literally has this other persona in him, and he has to tell himself almost that he's doing these things for these specific reasons. But he believes they sent one of their agents out to get him here, and he's completely confused what exactly has happened. So he met her 15 minutes ago and tried to say something, but we don't see that. Also, I don't know the exact time that took place from when we first meet him at the beginning to where we are exactly now. If it is literally the couple minutes that we've actually seen him, or if they skipped ahead a little bit. If we tried to warn her 15 minutes ago about something, I'm assuming it is about her death that later happens. If we're trying to warn her about that, that means another version of himself went through and failed what he was ultimately attempting to do, but is working on this because we're dealing with so much different shit kind of going on. We get to see our first glimpse of him using the phone and not actually talking to anybody, which I think is more of his insane side kind of showing, and him kind of believing in these things and people out to get him, whatever that case might be. He's definitely a character. That's for fucking sure. I wanted to see this. So they didn't say anything? Or am I just not getting a proper no subject attachment? So I'm assuming an image or something. Yeah, so it probably sent an image attachment or something. This was at 12:26. We know the crash and everything happened at 12. It was reported. But to this point in the episode, he hasn't felt... No. He felt it when he first went upstairs and checked. So it did happen at 12. This is 26 minutes later. He tried to warn her specifically 15-ish minutes ago, so likely 12:10ish, probably around there. Also, who's sending this? Is this himself through another email some other time, specifically trying to get himself I don't know. They basically just sent a bunch of static, it appears, or I'm just not able to see it. She loses it. This is where my guess goes that he actually sells it at some point or something happens. I don't know. Then we start hearing screaming, which is definitely a guy's voice that's screaming. So it's not actually her. When we end up finding her dead. So somebody screaming while killing her, similarly to maybe him in his voice. I mean, I couldn't make it out if it was or not, but I'm just thinking he has this other side to him that's kind of fucking insane here. I very much wouldn't put it past him to be somebody who kills somebody and then screams out while it's happening, unless this was somebody else who found her and is just screaming in that moment. But I don't believe that's the case. So somebody's out to get her, they kill her, who exactly that is. So we have a mystery for that. And then he's able to find this. He starts fucking losing his shit because he just saw somebody that was dead. We end up then getting an email, or no, we start sending an email to Buddy that we meet later on, specifically stating that she got killed. We don't get a time on when he was exactly sending that, so we can't verify anything until I guess I see that later. He presses the button to go send it, and this sends him through something. We'd assume he's traveling backwards, or he's traveling... I don't know. Something's going on here, basically. I was confused. I thought that he was just seeing nothing and there was actually people around, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So it seems to be he got sent back through and it's rewriting everything, and it cleared the streets almost in this moment. And then once he kind of gets sent back through, when he sees her, everybody else kind of comes back into vision. And that's why she didn't end up seeing it. We get our first glimpse of him drinking the Dr. Pepper and then we get to see the satellite. So was him sending the email even the trigger, or was it specifically the thing that happened and occurred here with the satellite that triggered it? But the satellite was at 12, and this is after the fact, we're assuming anyways, when he sees her, so that's probably not the case. And then we're like, what the fuck is up with the satellite? So we get an OP. As always, I don't like looking too much into OPs because I don't want to take a chance that they put spoilers and other things in it. So I just don't like to look too into them. I mean, if I pick them up as I'm watching, I do, but I don't like to go like kind of frame by frame and like really pick things out. This is when we first get to figure out that Buddy is a mad scientist. He's actually losing his mind. We figure out the whole name thing and clarify that. We have a really fun dynamic between all the characters and kind of what they go out of their way to do and what the purpose is of everything that's kind of occurring here. Then we find out this happened around 12. So we're assuming 12. We're just going to say 12 exactly. See, we have to play with times. That's what I hate. I'm going to have to write all those down. It hurts my head. So then he assumed the organization made a move on him, but he saw this on TV and specifically said, yeah, we got to go watch this. And then he was fucking confused. So, or not watch this, but actually see it happen in person. So that's the reason that they ended up going to where they did. So it wasn't actually the event that they did. Or nope, I'm not getting anything. I got nothing. We got our title drop, but he goes kind of fucking wild. Some more other shit going on. We talk about not having money and stuff like that. We got a landlord, it definitely seems. She gets captivated by absolutely everything. Really adorable though. Then we get the Dr. Pepper. He is very cultured and understands it's a drink chosen for the intellectuals, but he probably is like, the problem is he definitely is fully under the assumption that this is specifically because it states doctor on it, so he thinks that it's like people who eat like smart food, like the popcorn and stuff, and they think, you know, like when you're younger and stuff. It's definitely one of those things. He sees her looking up. I'm assuming this is a younger version of her. I fucking pray this is a younger version of her, because my God, I would be so annoyed if we have so many different things I have to pay attention to. Assuming this is a younger version of herself. He just probably has a flashback of like her specifically looking up and staring at the tree or whatever she was looking at this moment, and it just like looks similar enough. She has the same hat, it appears. I think she's wearing an entirely different outfit though. If this is another like random vision that's coming to mind, but it's from different timeline within the same like span of like an hour here that we're kind of dealing with, and somehow somebody's dead within the, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. Okay, regardless. And now it looks like she's wearing the same, I don't know, whatever. We have our whole microwave thing. I might be looking like not enough into this, but I don't understand the whole thing behind this. It made for a funny moment, but like I don't know if there's really a lot more to it, besides for the fact that the thing that we did when we specifically press it on the phone and activate it allows it to go backwards and reverse it almost instead of going forward. Similarly to like a thing like, oh, we're using our, like, we pressed this thing and sent the email and it brought us backwards and sent us backwards in time, like similar to something in relation to that, but I don't know if that's going to also be the case. And then we get a lot of fucking shit that happens here. Specifically, we find out that the murder itself actually happened last week. And I'm assuming that everything that's happened in this episode has been over the course of one day. So specifically what we see at the beginning of the episode and where we're sitting at right now is the entire span of a singular day, or at least a few hours within that single day. I'm assuming that it's nothing more than that. So we find out that we sent these emails last week about this girl dying, who apparently would die today, is what I'm guessing. And he's confused because he's like, no, I literally just did it beforehand. But I guess when he tried to do it, it sent him through whatever to be like, yo, you can't fucking do this, and sent him backwards almost. We find out it got split into 3 different messages. All of these happened on the 23rd. Today's the 28th. So not a full week, but close enough to beforehand. All of these messages were sent at 12:56. Which I don't know if that lines up with the timeline because, well, I guess it could definitely be, but I'm saying that specifically because we see the other one and I think it's at like 12:26 or something along those lines, is when we specifically find her at that moment. So did it take him 30 minutes to get outside and to send the message? I find a hard time believing that, but that also, you know, it definitely was sent on a different day, so it doesn't fucking matter, I guess. If it was, then I have absolutely no fucking idea. So he starts losing it. Why it was sent into 3 different ones as well. And was it also just the same message in everyone? It looks like the exact same. So they just sent it 3 times at the exact same time, 3 times. Huh. So he's completely confused too because he sent the messages today in his mind, but they were actually sent backwards, and that's not the case. And then we open the door, basically the elevator door here, and we find out that she's still alive, who we literally just saw a couple hours ago, basically dead on the ground, and she's sitting here like this. Yeah, I got nothing. I don't know. Once again, also, if this is your first time joining, these discussions and stuff are literally just me kind of speaking what the hell's happening or what I think is happening, and a lot of time it might just turn out to be like a recap almost, but it's more so for me to understand and kind of get it into my head and fully understand. But I will add things and theorize on things within it, but just so that's understandable. So overall, I think we are dealing with multiple different things where the version of him that we are seeing right now is, I guess, one that we're going to specifically follow, but there's other versions of himself who have traveled through time to specifically stop this event, but possibly other events, specifically her death, but other events that have occurred before. And we are going to kind of have to follow him, clue in on these different details and pieces and stuff, and kind of make his way through them. And we are also dealing with what appears to be like specific times. Like, I think times are going to be very important here, where we're going to have certain time frames to change certain events and certain things that are going to occur. And we're going to kind of have to go one by one and figure those out, which scares the fuck out of me, because that means I have to write down a lot of stuff if I want to know what's happening. But that whole idea of like the timeline stuff gets me really fucking confused, because it's like, if she's alive here, why is that the case? Like, what exactly happened there that I'm not keying in on here and mixing up? And was it different day things and we're just kind of getting, like, am I missing the point completely? Was everything that actually happened on the 23rd? But he's like delusional and thinks it's a different, like, I don't think that's the case actually at all. Like, what am I missing there? Is any of this real? Is this all just like Buddy being completely delusional and none of this stuff is actually happening, and he's like making up more stories within his head and like playing between himself here? I don't believe any of that's going to be the case. But it definitely makes me wonder. Also, would the idea of the messages being sent into the past actually be that the messages were properly sent in the past? So maybe he can go back a certain amount of days and then he specifically sends it on that day at that time? Or is it literally he sent this message and the message got sent backwards? So instead of being then, so he has to go back in time where he can receive the message at that proper day from this version of himself, and then he can follow along the paths, and maybe this other version of himself will keep trickling things backwards and sending them, which will ultimately allow him to clue in and gain enough stuff to kind of fully understand from there. I don't know though. That's all I got. Fascinating first episode though. Very, very good. The pacing of it was very, very quick. Concerns me a bit because there's a lot of info and I feel like a lot of stuff kind of happened, but it was very quick. It was very intriguing. There's a lot to like here. Nothing that even came to my mind that I disliked or wasn't that big a fan of, so fantastic so far, and I'm very excited to kind of see where this is going to go. If you liked it all, hit the like and subscribe. They do really mean a lot to me. Leave any comments though about this episode, the series, answer those questions I asked about the watch order and stuff like that at the beginning. Please don't spoil or leave anything regarding that stuff, but if anything can kind of help me or put me on the right track and redirect me properly, please let me know. I'll be back for the second episode very soon though. You guys have a good one. See you.